Leviticus 7. This is the law of the guilt offering. It is most holy. In the place where you slaughter the burnt offering, you must slaughter the guilt offering, and the officiating priest must splash the blood against the altar side. So again, we're getting at, where do you slaughter animals? They all happen in the same place, and the blood is collected and it's splashed on the altar. So blood is splashed on the side of the altar. There are some where you put it on the horns, but here it's splashing. Then the one making the offering must present all its fat, the fatty tail, the fat covering the entrails, the 2 kidneys, and the fat on their sinews, and the protruding lobe of the liver, which he must remove along with the kidneys. Again, we have the choicest parts of the animal are the offering. You're giving the best of the animal. Then the priest must offer them up in smoke on the altar as a gift to the Lord. It is a guilt offering. Any male among the priests may eat it. It must be eaten in a holy place. It is most holy. The law is the same for the sin offering and the guilt offering. It belongs to the priest who makes atonement for it. So we have some offerings that are a portion given. We have some offerings that are for the priest who is making the offering. So whichever priest is making the offering, and some that are shared with all of the priests and the Levites. But with the guilt offering, with the sin offering, it remains in the holy space. It is eaten in the holy space. So you can't preserve it, and also anything preserved the next day is burned up, so you do not leave these things. You don't hang on to them. You're not asking for more so that you can have them for later. No, you are just offering them, and because you are the one offering, there is a portion that you participate in. As for the priest who presents someone's burnt offering, the hide of the burnt offering, which he presents, belongs to him. So you get to have the leather of the animal. Every grain offering which is baked in an oven or made in a pan or on the griddle belongs to the priest who presents it. Every grain offering, whether mixed with olive oil or dry, belongs to the sons of Aaron, each one alike. So here we have the distinction. So burnt offerings are going to belong to the one presented them. Grain offerings are going to belong to the priest who presented it, but every grain offering mixed with olive oil or dry belongs to the sons of Aaron, each and one alike. So there's the portion that goes to the priest offering it, and there's the portion that goes to the sons of Aaron. This is the law of the peace offering sacrifice, which he is to present to the Lord. If he presents it on account of thanksgiving, along with a thank offering sacrifice, he must present unleavened loaves mixed with olive oil, unleavened wafers smeared with olive oil, and well-soaked ring-shaped loaves made of choice wheat, flour, and olive oil. He must present this grain offering in addition to the ring-shaped loaves of leavened bread. Ring-shaped loaves of leavened bread. I don't remember that happening before. Ring-shaped loaves of leavened bread which regularly accompany the sacrifice of his Thanksgiving peace offering. He must present one of each kind of grain offering as a contribution offering to the Lord. It belongs to the priest who splashes the blood of the priest offering. The meat of his Thanksgiving peace offering must be eaten on the day of his offering. He must not set it aside until morning. Okay, so there's the piece that I was mentioning about it can't be set aside until morning. It has to be eaten. So we have these things. Now, when you go to the other nations around, the offerings were given for the God, and the God needed them, and then gods needed to be fed by humans in some way, depending on where their thinking was around things. God needs none of these. And it's straight up front that the priests are the ones eating them. In some of the others, the food offerings would be offered. They would mysteriously disappear in the night because the priest had eaten them, but nobody knew that the priest ate them. Here, straight up, it's telling you, no, you're burning up stuff. The portion that is burnt is a fragrant aroma to the Lord, and the part that is consumable is for the priests. Like, it's straight up. It's all here. It's like, this is what's happening. There's no fooling people. There's no pretend that's going on. God does not need these things. It is a matter of you are offering them. And here we have peace and thanksgiving offerings that are offered. If if his offering is a votive or a free will sacrifice, it may be eaten on the day he presented his sacrifice, and also the leftovers from it may be eaten on the next day. So if we have a votive or a free will sacrifice, that can be leftovers. But the leftovers from the meat of the sacrifice must be burnt up with fire on the third day. If some of the meat of the peace offering sacrifice is eaten on the third day, it will not be accepted. It will not be accounted to the one who presented it, since it is spoiled, and the person who eats from it will bear his punishment for iniquity. Yeah, the it is spoiled. I don't know if it is saying that the meat is spoiled from a meat standpoint. I think it is saying that the offering is spoiled. So it could have double layers there, and the person who eats it will bear his punishment for the iniquity. So, see, in that regard, you have violated it. You have created an iniquity, so you will bear the punishment for violating this. So, let's see what the note says here on the spoiled. Great point to look at. Or desecrated, or defiled, or forbidden. It has become impure. It has become unclean. It will be contaminated. Yeah, so they chose a word spoiled, which could have a double meaning here in English of the meat is spoiled, which is what we would understand the meat sitting out that way. But they would, then there's still aged beef. If you want aged beef, it's really good. And it's a process of letting the meat hang out. And have processes happen on it. So this is really ritually, it has become spoiled, not necessarily the meat has spoiled from a standpoint of unsafe to eat. However, it could coincidentally be both, that it has become spoiled meat, and eating it will give you the consequences of eating spoiled meat. So you're violating the instructions, you're violating the sacrifice, and you'll have the food poisoning because of it. And that will be the proof that that's what's going on. The meat which touches anything ceremonial unclean must not be eaten. It must be burned up in the fire. As for ceremonially clean meat, everyone who is ceremonially clean may eat the meat. The person who eats the meat from the peace offering sacrifice which belongs to the Lord, while the person's uncleanness persists, will be cut off from his people. So one of the violations often is cutting off from the people. You are outside of society. You are cast out. You are not able to participate. This is what happens with people that are unclean. They have to stay outside of society. Now, it doesn't mean necessarily that you have to leave the community. You remain on the outside. When the person touches anything unclean, whether human uncleanness or an unclean animal or an unclean detestable creature, and eats some of the meat of the peace offering sacrifice which belongs to the Lord, that person will be cut off from his people. So here we have the idea of uncleanness transfers to other people. So how do you avoid being ritually made unclean? You avoid things that are in an unclean space. Why? Because you are in a clean space. You are in a holy set apart space. So you don't want anything unclean in that space. So you don't do things, you don't continue in things that are unclean. Now, here's one of the things that's not super clear is touching a dead animal makes you unclean. What about if you are the one who kills the animal to offer it as a sacrifice? Does then touching the dead animal make you unclean? I think it doesn't. It's after the animal's sacrifice has finished if you come and touch the carcass of the animal that makes it unclean. Also, touching the dead animal, the hide of the bulls that are going on. Do you have to take it outside the camp or outside the temple when you're doing that, and it's left there and it's dealt with by other people, other Levites who become unclean and officially finish doing things on your behalf, and then the hide, there's a little bit of this that is unclear fully in the way it's fleshed out, but the principle is clear. Touching things that are unclean, when you are working in the holy place makes you unclean, and you need to cease and desist from participation in the process of anything happening there, including eating the meat. So if you are unclean, you cannot come and you cannot participate. You need to be removed from the space. So it could simply be cut off from the people and cut off from the rest of the ceremony. The rest of everything is happening until you are restored to cleanness, is part of what could be going on here, not a permanent cutoff. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, "Tell the Israelites, you must not eat any fat of an ox, sheep, or goat. Moreover, the fat of an animal that has died of natural causes and the fat of an animal torn by beast may be used for any other purpose, but you must certainly never eat it." Okay, you must not eat the fat of an ox, sheep, or goat. So you can't eat it. And I don't know if this is just the sacrifices or not, okay? Because then it gives qualifiers which wouldn't necessarily need to be here unless we were talking about sacrifices. Moreover, the fat of an animal that has died of natural causes and the fat of an animal torn by beast may be used for any other purpose, but you may not certainly eat it. So you have dead animals, you find a dead animal, you can take the fat, use it for other purposes except consumption. So does that mean that then why would we need this clause in here unless there's some way you could still eat fat of an animal? So that's why I'm wondering if this is, you must not eat the fat of an ox, sheep, or goat, the sacrifices, because we were just talking about sacrifices. So not sure if that's all-encompassing or if that's just a reference back to the sacrifices that we just had, but you must certainly never eat it. If if anyone eats fat from the animal from which he presents a gift to the Lord, that person will be cut off from his people. Yeah, see, here it comes back to it. Eating of the fat as a gift offering to the Lord is getting you cut off. You do not. That is the choicest portion. That is the best of the best. That's what you're giving to God, is the very best, so you are cut off from the people. See what I have in the footnote there. See Leviticus 7:20. Oh, we didn't look at it there. Let's go back up and look at the cutoff. Yeah, it didn't have the... Okay, anyway. And you must not eat any blood of the bird or the domesticated land animals in any of the places where you live. Any person who eats any blood, the person will be cut off from his people. So, eating the blood cuts you off from the people. Why does it not show me this? When I went to 720, I don't see the footnote on it. Okay, the exact meaning of the penalty clause is not certain. It could mean that the person will be executed, whether by God or by man. It will be excommunicated from sanctuary worship and or community benefits. I think it's a second one. Or his line will be terminated by God. I guess you could go in that direction. I don't see it. In this case, I think it is cut off from the participation. It could, in some places, go as severe as that, but I don't know that in this case it means that. So here we have, you can't have the blood of the bird, domesticated land animals in any place where you live. A person who eats any blood, that person will be cut off from his people. I've heard people in modern times worried about eating a rare steak from the standpoint of being cut off or violating these. That's not the idea here necessarily. Also, when you are eating a rare steak, it's not necessarily blood that is in the steak that you're eating. Blood is coming out of the animal when it is in the slaughter. If you get, steak and you're grilling it and there's red coming out, it's not blood. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but it's not blood. So do not worry about that. Also, eating rare, not a great idea, I don't think. Medium rare, fine. Cook it a little bit. The jackal 34:16, welcome in. Thank you for the follow, friend. Then the Lord spoke to Moses. Tell the Israelites that the one who presents his peace offering sacrifice to the Lord must bring part of his offering to the Lord as his sacrifice. With his own hands he must bring the Lord's gift. He must bring the fat from the breast to wave the breast as a wave offering before the Lord. So when you're doing a peace offering sacrifice, you take it and you wave it around. You bring the portion and you wave them around. You get to do the presentation of these to the Lord. And the priest must offer the fat up in smoke on the altar, but the breast will belong to Aaron and his sons. So you're making the offering, you wave it around, you wave the breast, you're presenting it, and that portion of the peace offering goes to Aaron and his sons. That's all the Levites. That's all of the priests. The right thigh you must give as a contribution offering to the priest from your peace offering sacrifice. So the right thigh. The right thigh is where Jacob was hit in the socket, if you remember, and his leg there. So this is the tradition that connects to that lifting or presenting that as a portion. The one from Aaron's sons who presents the blood of the peace offering and the fat will have the right thigh as his share. So the priest offering the animal of the peace offering gets the right thigh. The breast goes to everyone of the family of the priest. From the breast of the wave offering and the thigh of the contribution offering, I have taken from the Israelites out of the peace offering sacrifice and have given them to Aaron and the priest and to his sons from the people of Israel as a perpetual allotment portion. So, one of the things we have built into the sacrificial system is the care of the priests and the Levites. Since they have no portion in the land when sacrifices are offered, they have a portion in it. It is a participation in it for their livelihood as they do the work of the temple. This is the allotment of Aaron and the allotment of his sons from the Lord's gifts on the day Moses presented them to serve as priests to the Lord. This is what the Lord commanded to give to them from the Israelites on the day Moses appointed them, a perpetual allotment proportion throughout their generations. This is the law for the burnt offering, the grain offering, the sin offering, the guilt offering, the ordination offering, and the peace offering sacrifice, which the Lord commanded Moses on Mount Sinai on the day he commanded the Israelites to present their offerings to the Lord in the desert of Sinai. All right, so there we have all of the offering summed up, all the offerings being presented. Here are the number of them. Here's the way you do them. Here's the process for all of those things going on. All right, so I do have it. Here is my chart. So you can see my chart made of all of the offerings. So you have the grain offering, all the regulations on the grain offering. You have the burnt offerings and all the regulations. You have the peace offerings and all the regulations. You have the guilt offering. You have the priest, and you have the sin offering. And then I have the little flip outs that happen. Let's see, with the instructions of how that takes place. So who offers it, how they offer it, who gets to keep parts of it. So there's my full chart I made, and which is kind of colorful and all of that. So all the different things that are in there. And what I tried to do was include all the things of what is included, how it is done. So there we go. So that's what I made on that. I do have a less cool version that's just on a one piece of paper. But yeah, so that's all of the things that can happen in it. But it's like the part of the point of this too is there are 6 different offering options there. There's the peace offering, the burnt offering, the grain offering, the sin offering. I think I would now call it purification offering, guilt offering, and the priests. So priests are Aaron and his sons. They must be anointed to offer sacrifices. They must be clean to perform sacrifices, and all things have specific details for disposal. They have specific clothing to wear in different events, but they stay in the holy place, blood splattered, had to be cleaned off garment, and anything that became unclean was burned. So there's actually 5 different sacrifice types, and then I have the priest in there as well. So I don't know. I had fun making that at one point when I was in seminary. We had to do something, and to me, when you can make a chart and you can compare and contrast things, it's a whole lot easier than a long list explaining things.